All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to get into Anchor and set up a full episode. If you use the Anchor app to podcast, I think it's pretty important that you watch this video. A lot of podcasts don't have any structure. Most podcasts that are on Anchor do have a structure, and I really, really appreciate that. And the reason why I'm speaking of structure is because you actually want to know what you're listening to. For example, if you listen to a podcast on the regular that is produced on the Anchor app or anywhere, actually, it doesn't have to be the Anchor app, but if you listen to a specific podcast every week or every day, whatever, and they have the same opening, the same closing, same transitions, then that, in my eyes, is a quality podcast. Of course, audio plays in, music choice plays in, all that other good stuff. So what I have on the screen is my commercial for this Friday's episode for my podcast. And we're going to listen to a little bit of it. And then we're going to get into the Anchor website and build a full episode. Here we go. During today's episode, we take a look at how Christians tend to fall away from prayer because we either get in our feeling. So that's the opening for my commercial. Now, I've already exported this as an MP3 from Audacity. Audacity is a free program, awesome, easy to use. So we're going to go ahead and move over to Anchor. Oops. All right. So we're going to go over to the episode tab. Now, I've already set up the title and all for this Friday's episode, which happens to be in Season 1, Episode 2. Now, get in here. We're going to edit. Let's go back when I went to the wrong one. Let's go back to episodes. We're going to click on it again, and we're going to hit, I forgot they updated. So we're going to scroll down, and we're going to hit the edit audio. Hit OK. Now, I've already got some stuff in here that I pulled from my library, which hosts everything I need. So I've already added my sponsor, my intro, which is it's the intro I use for every single episode.
The Ear, Evangelical and Reformed.
And then I have my commercial intro and outro.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to this episode.
And then I have an ad. 2 ads, actually, if I get filled here. I have 2 ads. And this is the outro to my commercial.
Hey guys, I'm glad you stuck around. Now let's get back to the conversation.
And then I have my outro.
You have reached the end of yet another episode from The Ear.
Now I'm going to show you how to actually add. We want to add our commercial. And we want to add our segments to the podcast, to the episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click to upload audio. And I'm going to go to my podcasting folder where all my podcasts is hosted. And I'm going to click on folder number 2, which says podcast. When I do that, it then brings me to all the episodes that I've done. I have 3 standalone episodes, and then I have a season of episodes. So I'm going to click on season 1 and episode 10. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add my commercial. And I'm going to upload that. Now, when I upload, it's automatically going to add it to the bottom. Again, we talked about structure. So I'm going to move this up to where it is the very first thing that plays when you click on the podcast. Now, the reason why I put my commercial before the ad is because it gives you an idea of what you're listening to. For example, when you click on it, if you want to listen and say, okay, let me see what this podcast is about. You click on it, you get this 30 to 60-second commercial of what the podcast is going to be about. That way, if you like it, you can continue to listen. If you don't like it, you can move on, but you still have an idea of what the podcast was about. So my commercial goes here. Then I'm going to add my segment 1 and segment 2. So I'll go back to my folder, click on back on episode 2, and then I go to mixed recordings. Now, I got part 1 and part 2. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do both at the same time, and I'm going to upload. Again, it starts off at the bottom. Now, This is where it could get tricky, and this is where you need to pay most attention. Now, I'm obviously going to put part one right after intro A. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start moving that up. Okay. All right. And right after intro A. So part one of two will start right after that. And then we have our commercial break along with an ad if I get sponsored by someone, and then a personal ad that I sought out from a friend who is obviously going on a mission trip. And then the exit to my commercial break. And then the outro. Well, obviously the outro can't go before segment 2 of the episode. So we're going to move segment 2 right above outro A. All right. So let's take a look at the structure. When you hit play on one of my podcasts, you have a commercial. That's what CML stands for. And then the number is just the number for the episode. The ad. This is if you're sponsored through Anchor or through someone else or your personal ads. Then I have an intro. Then I have segment 1 of 2. Then I have a mid-roll. This section here from commercial break A to commercial break B is considered mid-roll. This will have 1 or 2 commercial ads that you can add to your podcast. And some people don't even worry about sponsorships, which is fine. But you do want some kind of ad or some kind of commercial break to break up your podcast, especially if your podcast is over an hour. I highly recommend that. 45 minutes, you can do it, but it's pushing it. But if your podcast is over an hour, like an hour and 30 minutes, you want to have some kind of commercial break because one or two things will happen. If you choose not to do a commercial break, then your listener might get bored or may not have time to listen to all of it. Or they just don't have time to listen to the whole thing, so they listen to half. Well, if you have the commercial break and they listen to half, they can always go back and pick up where they left off at. So commercial break A to commercial break B is my mid-roll section. And then I go right back into segment 2 of my podcast along with my outro. Now, you can also add another sponsorship segment, which automatically puts it at the top. I'm actually going to delete it. But if you add another segment, you would want to add it right behind the episode 2 because your ad will not play at the end of your podcast. So this is my structure and how I build my episode in Anchor on the website. I start off with my commercial. I start off with the opening ad, then with the intro, segment 1, then my mid-roll commercial break A to B, and then my second segment, and then my outro. So that's how I do it. Then I'm going to hit Save Changes. And this is going to save my episode as I built it. So when I come back down here, I will have all the stuff that I need. Okay, now here's the cool thing. If I wanted to, I can take this commercial and make it into text. If you did that, you can then in turn use that video on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But we're not going to do that. In another video, part 2 to this video, I'm actually going to show you another app that I use to make my commercial videos. Yes, I do a commercial video. It's posted to Instagram and Facebook. That's why if you notice, it's only a minute long for my commercials. Anywhere from 45 to 60 seconds is my commercials. So that's the audio. And then if you hit edit here, you can then come in here and actually write up your show notes under your show description. And then you can tell your show when to post. Now, obviously, I'm going to post this on Friday, and my time frame is 9 o'clock every Friday morning. Yours may change. Yours is different. And then you confirm that. But then here's the other lucky part, because iTunes reads this more than any other. Season number and episode number. Obviously, I'm in season 1, and my episode is episode 10. All right. And you want to put the full version and then clean, because if you put trailer, it's going to put it under a section that says trailer. If you put bonus, it's going to put it under a section that says bonus. I will come back and do another video on the bonus part because I do have a bonus episode to season 1 coming up soon. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this as a draft because I'm not going to bore you with typing show notes, even though I have a format for that. So this is my structure for building an episode in the Anchor app. And I hope that this was a useful app for you guys, or a useful video for you guys. And I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you and have a great day.